Om Shanti. Good morning. Today we are reading Avyak Murli of 25th June 1970. And in today's Murli, this Murli's title is Difference between Language of Corporeal and Subtle Region. So this Murli, Baba is explaining about what is the language of the corporeal region and the subtle region. So we all understand what the difference is, how Baba has explained it, but Baba is giving some simple examples about how, through science, we catch the conversations and scenes from long distance, like we have television these days. But Baba wants us to be, at present, to be lawmakers and the makers of the new world, and also peacemakers. So Baba wants us to do this kind of service now, where we can remove all the adulteration and corruption from this world. So that is the job of Pandav government. And Baba also asked us to check to what extent, like, we children have become the maker and a checker, so that only then we can be a ruler. So for becoming a ruler, we need to be the maker and checker of our own self first. After that, in today's Murli, Baba asked us to check how generous hearted we have become, to what extent, how we help others. Then Baba also asked us to check uh, how does Maya enter, in which form does Maya come first. So it is through laziness. So once we conquer that, then it is easy for us to follow Srimad and, Maya, which comes in both ways, mentally and physically. So once we are, having complete attention on us, this royal form of laziness or Maya, which is coming constantly, we can conquer that. So that laziness first enters in a very subtle form through our thoughts, and then it takes the larger form. So we have to work on that. So the key words of this Murli today is lawmaker, peacemaker, and the makers of new world. So if you have understood, like, if we keep these three words in our mind, we'll be able to understand this whole Murli today. So let us go through this Murli and understand and hear what Baba has to say today. So the Murli's title is The Difference in the Language of the Corporeal and Subtle Regions, 25th June 1970. Can you understand the language of the subtle region whilst living in the corporeal world? What is the language of the subtle region? Have you ever heard the language of the subtle region? At present, the Avyak has to take the Avyakt support for the residents of the corporeal world in order to speak the same way that they do. There, in the subtle region, a lot of secrets can be clarified in 1 second. Here, in your world, clarification only happens after speaking a lot. Like, we have to speak volumes and then we understand what is the crux or the message is, then derived. And in subtle region, it is a wonderful secret that Baba has revealed, that a lot of things, a lot of secrets can be clarified in just 1 second. So this is the difference between the corporeal language and the subtle language. Can you understand from Avik Babdada's signals what Babdada is seeing today? Just as through science, you can catch the conversations and scenes from a long distance away. In the same way, on the basis of your Avyakt stage, can you not catch the things that are directly in front of you? Babdada is seeing three things. What are they? Today, Babdada is checking to what extent each one of you has become a checker, and together with that, to what extent each one of you has become a maker. So checker and maker. To the extent that someone is a checker, accordingly, he can become a maker. At present, you are lawmakers and the makers of the new world, and also peacemakers. Lawmakers, makers of the new world, and also peacemakers. However, together with being a maker, you must definitely be a checker too. What do you especially have to check? This service, this is the service that remains, and it is through this that your name will be glorified. What do the checkers of that government check? Adulteration and corruption. So, this is the service that still remains. Become the checkers of the Almighty government and go to those who practice adulteration and corruption. When the checkers and inspectors of that government go to someone, they do not disclose their identity. In the same way, become the checkers with the authority of the Pandav government. So that as soon as they see you, they become afraid of their adulteration and corruption and bow their heads. This service still remains to be done. Your name will be glorified through this. When one of them bows his head, the heads of many others will bow down. Go with the authority of the Pandav government and challenge them. Now, do you understand? However, you first have to become a checker of yourself and in service too. So you have to become a checker of yourself and in service too. To what extent that someone becomes a maker, a checker, accordingly he becomes a ruler. So to what extent have you become checkers, makers, and rulers? Babdada is seeing these three things in each one of you. When you stabilize yourself in these three forms, your time will not be wasted in these trivial matters. Since you are those who check adulteration and corruption of others, how can you yourself still have adulteration and corruption? So you should have the intoxication to check to which extent you are able to stabilize yourself in these three stages. Those who are rulers are not dependent on anyone. They're the ones with a right. Beautiful sentence. Those who are rulers are not dependent on anyone. They are the ones with the right, as they can never be dependent on anyone. How could they be subservient to Maya? When you forget your right, you do not consider yourself to be one who has a right. When do you not consider yourself to be one who has a right, you become dependent. To the extent that you consider yourself to be one with a right, you will accordingly have a generous heart. To the extent to which someone becomes generous hearted, to that extent he becomes an example for many others. In order to be generous hearted, you have to be one with a right. To be one with the right means that you always have to remember your right. Then you will be able to become an example. Just as Babdada is an example, in the same way, all of you will be an example for many others. Those who have a generous heart become an example and they can also easily uplift others. Do you understand? When Maya enters someone, in which form does she comes first? She first come. Many gave their own ideas. First of all, Maya brings laziness in many different forms. With body consciousness too, the first form is to adopt. The first form it adopts is that of laziness. At that time, you become lazy in taking Srimad and verifying something. Then body consciousness increases. In all other aspects too, laziness first comes in many different forms. Laziness and unhappiness make you distant in godly relationships. Laziness and unhappiness make you distant in godly relationships. It distances you in the corporeal relationships, intellectual relationships, and relationships in terms of taking cooperation. So you are moved out of the Brahmin clan, or you distant yourself from the godly family, study from Baba. So what is the fierce form which comes after this form of laziness? It manifests in a visible form of body consciousness. Most of the times, like students, they don't come regularly to Murli. The first thing is they become a little distant. Okay, so that irregularity, uh, and then maybe let's say they feel that okay, if I'm not coming, then it is teacher's responsibility to call me. So it's like that ego which starts uh, you know coming in a different way, and then they wait for the call of teacher. Most of the students, we come across these situations. So that body consciousness, like, why should I go there? Let them call me and then I'll go. So it manifests in a visible form of body consciousness. First of all, it begins with the sixth vice. It begins in the enlightened souls with the last number vice, that is with laziness. What are the thoughts you have because of laziness? At present, it is in this form that Maya interferes. You have to pay a lot of attention to this. Maya tries to come to you in many different ways. In this sixth form, there are many different forms of laziness. This Maya can come in both ways, physically and mentally. Many think, okay, if not now, I'll do it later at some point. What is the hurry? Maya comes in this way in a very royal form. Many also think, how is it possible to have an avyakt stage for 6 to 8 hours in this life whilst we are in this effort making life? This stage can only come at the end. This too is a royal form of laziness. I will do it later. I will think about it. I will see about it. All of that is laziness. Now you must become the checkers of all of that. Is Maya making any of you move backwards through her royal form? You do have to sustain your household, but you forget to have an attitude of disinterest whilst living in the household. You remember half the things and you let go of the other half. Laziness first enters in a very subtle way through thoughts. After that, it takes on a larger form. If you remove it at that time, you will not have to face a lot of opposition. So now, check, in which form does Maya make you lazy in your being able to become a fast effort maker or in taking a high jump? You check the external form of Maya, but you now have to check the subtle form. Many also think that there are very few sits anyway. And so when they see others making a lot of effort, they fix it in their intellects that they cannot go that far. And so whatever stage they have reached is good enough. That too is a form of laziness. So you have to change yourself in all these things. Only then will you be able to become the lawmakers, peacemakers, and the makers of the new world. If you do not first make yourself new, how would you become a maker of the new world? If you do not first make yourself new, how would you become a maker of the new world? First of all, you have to make yourself this. Do you know the method to put intensity in your efforts? So, why then do you not use that? Until you make a promise to yourself You cannot bring about that determination within yourself. Until you make a promise to yourself, you cannot bring about that determination within yourself. Unless you fix it here, you will not be able to fix your seat there in Satyam. So now, when will you become intense in your efforts? Everyone said from now. So remember for yourself the slogan that you tell others at the museums and exhibitions. If not now, then never. Do not think that you will do something later. Think, I will definitely become something now. To the extent that you make a promise, to that extent there will be determination and courage. So first, it is very important that I take that pledge, that I promise myself, I promise Baba, and that determination and courage will come. Then you will also receive cooperation because you are the senior ones. Baba is explaining all of this, keeping you in front. Who is kept in front of someone? Those who are loved. So there is no hesitation in telling something to someone one loves. Each of you is such a beloved soul. You're wondering why Baba is not speaking more loudly. According to the sanskar over a period of time, when Baba comes into the corporeal from the subtle, it does not seem right to speak more loudly. All of you gradually have to conduct your activities through signals whilst going beyond sound. You have to practice this. Do you understand? Bap Dada comes to make you perform the drill of the intellect through which you receive the qualifications of discrimination and of being far-sighted in an emerged form. As you progress further, service will be such that you will have a great need for far-reaching intellect and power to discern. This is why you are told to perform this drill, and then you will become powerful. By performing drill, the body becomes stronger, and so through the drill of the intellect too will become powerful to the extent that you fix a seat and also a time for yourself, so you will be able to fix the activities of your household. You will benefit in both ways. The more your intellect remains fixed, so the programs will also remain fixed. If your program is fixed, your progress will also be fixed. If your program is fixed, your progress will also be fixed. If you fluctuate in your progress, your program will also fluctuate. Now learn how to fix it. The only thing that now remains is to become complete and to make others complete. Whoever becomes that also shows the proof of it. You now have to give the proof of having made others this. You have to stay in the corporeal world simply for this task. And the task is to become complete and make others complete. Acha, Om Shanti. So we'll be reading another Murli now. So this is like the first Murli, and we'll move towards the next Murli, which is of 26th June 1970. And this is a very short and it's very, very sweet Murli, where Baba has explained the meaning of Kamdenu, the cow that fulfills everyone's desires. So in this Murli, Baba is saying, do you consider yourselves to be the images that grant visions? Why do people go in front of the idols? In order to have their desires in their mind fulfilled. Have you become such images that grant visions that you're able to fulfill any type of desire that souls have in their mind? Are you able to fulfill their desires for all time, not just temporarily? Mothers are called Kamdhenu, are they not? Kamdhenu means one who fulfills everyone's desires. Only those who have all their desires fulfilled will be able to fulfill the desires of everyone else. Always have the aim that you have to become idols that fulfill everyone's desires of their mind. Those who fulfill the desires of the world, others, would themselves be ignorant of the knowledge of desires. Those who fulfill the desires of others would themselves be ignorant of the knowledge of desires. If you have to have such, you have to have such practice. By being an embodiment of attainment, you're able to give others this attainment. So always consider yourselves to be bestowers, that is, great donors. After becoming a Mahagyani, a great Gyani soul, you're able to carry out the task of being a Mahadani, great donor. A great Gyani soul is recognized as being a great donor. You like touring around. Those who have the habit of touring are constantly touring. It is the same here. So you like to go to different places. You like to go and enjoy a different, sites, visiting different places. So Baba said, the more you tour around, the more you will enable others to travel with their intellect's yoga. Others will have visions through you. Just as when people used to come in front of the Sakar form, they would have the visions and experiences according to their loving devotion, according to the bhavana they had. They could experience and have different visions just by seeing Sakar Brahma Baba. In the same way, others will have many experiences and visions through each one of you. You can only become an image that grants visions in this way when you show your avyakt form of light. So constantly, if I have this thought that I am an angel, I am, and constantly in that body of light, come here from the subtle region. So then Baba said, only then you can become an image that grants visions. In this way, when you show your avyakt form of light, anyone who comes in front of you should not see the body, but only see the form of light in the subtle region. They should not see just the light on the forehead, but they should have visions of light through the whole body. When they see only light, they themselves will become the form of light. Acha, let us give love and remembrance to our beloved Bap Dada. And we'll sit in silence for a minute and then continue the journey of today's Murlis. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So we can start sharing starting with the first Murli of 25th June, the difference in the language of corporeal and subtle regions. So I really like this part where Baba said how Maya enters in different forms. So, the moment you have these loose thoughts of laziness that I'll not do it now, I'll do it later, that is where that, uh, Maya is entering in the form of laziness. And mentally or physically, we are so much caught in these thoughts that we start procrastinating in some or the other way. So if we have these thoughts, it's really important for us to check and change, and then remember Baba and engage yourself in seva. Om Shanti. Anyone else would like to share anything from the Murli of 25th June?
Om Shanti. Baba has described about the language in the corporeal world and the subtle world. What is the difference in the language? In subtle world, the language is through these signals, through signal isharo ki bhasha, and also beyond the sound, beyond sound. So this drill Baba has given us to practice. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Am I audible?
Hello, Om
Anyone would
Shanti.
like to share anything?
Om Shanti. Yes, Girijaban. Oh, I thought somebody's. Okay, it's such a nice when Baba starts from language, and then he's given me a title. When he's given me a title means he wants me to check something. He says I'm a checker. Now, of course, he says you're a checker, maker, lawmaker, peacemaker, and all. But that one thing what I liked today was about laziness. That's the most subtle vice. And it comes under, Baba says, under sukshma thing. The other vices, Baba places it on the first and says, you cannot absolve your sins, you cannot do anything if you're not aware. But laziness, he puts at 6. But I find the root cause of laziness is it'll pull me down. It'll really bring down my self-realization. The main cause is I don't realize the value of myself. I don't realize the value of time. I don't realize the value. So how much Baba is asking us to come out of this body consciousness of laziness and how Maya really affects people. So I think the main checker point in this 25th Murli is laziness, and for which Baba has already given us the power of discrimination and all. I think it's a good drill thing. I remember in those days they used to say carelessness plus laziness is equal to emptiness. It leads to spiritual bankruptcy. Om Shanti.
I like the statement that those who are rulers can never be dependent on anyone. It actually gives us this base that we should not be dependent and on anyone. We should not have any expectations from anyone. I mean, from this corporeal world. Whatever attainments we need, whatever powers we need, we should get it from the subtle world or the incorporeal world, because that is the treasure, that is unlimited powers are available there. And we should rather, instead of expecting, we should start sharing with everyone. So that then only we can become the ruler. And that's the checking which we need to do, that in a subtle form also, am I expecting something from someone while playing the role. So there I need to do the I be a checker, and then maker, then make myself full and then make everyone full. Then only I can be the ruler of my own self, and then world, and then the world. Om Shanti.
Yeah, adding on to what Om Bhai just mentioned, what I was getting was when expectation is what? Expectation is directly proportionate to your dependency. So does that mean that I need to be, no, if the dependency is, if this doesn't happen and I'll be unhappy, then that is the place to check myself and make myself self-sufficient. And does that mean that I cannot take support from anybody? Taking support is fine, but if you don't get a support and then you become unhappy or get dejected, that's the place to check. So for me to take the homework is check on the areas of dependency and chip off the expectations from there. It's okay to expect, but depending that expectations to be fulfilled is the area to be looked at. Om Shanti.
Shanti, anyone else would like to share anything? Like the more, another important point is Babdada also brought our attention to the importance of performing drills through intellect. So the more we are in the Vyakt stage, or in the seed stage, or in the angelic stage, the more our intellect is clear, and this actually helps us in discriminating things. So that's where Baba said, like, you'll receive the qualifications of discrimination and of being far-sighted in an emerged form. So it is a beautiful practice and experience that we all have, I'm sure, where the more we are in that avyakt stage, practicing constantly from, taking our attention from this world of, noise, to that world of silence or peace. The more we are peaceful, it is easy for us to see, things how it is. Like Baba said, you are a Trikaldarshi soul, so you know the Adi, Madhya, and Ant. So what it was before, what it is now, and what is the future. So in the three forms, we are able to see every soul and every situation. So it is easy for me to take right decisions. And also we are able to understand and catch the vibrations of the other soul, like with what intention that person is talking to us. So this is a very powerful drill again, where taking our attention constantly and performing the drill, we become more and more stronger. And Baba also said that the body becomes stronger. So through the drill of this intellect, your intellect also will become powerful. And also to give a timetable, like in Navik Murli also recently, Baba shared this, like to have your own timetable, prepare your program for intellect, what am I supposed to, think, churn, so that whole program has to be fixed for the entire day. So once your program is fixed, Baba said, your progress will also be fixed. Om Shanti. Tejaswani's sister is also sharing that I think the Checker and Maker can be used to overcome all kinds of Maya, and thereby we can become rulers. Yes. We can also share your thoughts on the other Murli, which is the meaning of Kamdenu. Where Baba explained what Kamdenu is, which fulfills everyone's desires. So, what is your takeaway from this Murli?
Om Shanti. Kamdhenu actually represents the one who fulfills everyone's desires. But Baba said that the condition to become a Kamdhenu is that the soul should have all the desires and the attainments fulfilled through the one God. Then only the soul will be full enough to be a Kamdhenu for others. So what the takeaway which I'm taking is I will be checking myself that have I fulfilled all my desires through the one God, which Baba says, na sarv sambandho ka rasna ek se lena hai. Then only every relation I can be Kamdhenu for in this corporeal world. So I'll be embodiment of all attainments in that way. So I think, and second churning which I came to my mind is that Dhenu means guy, a cow, which does this manthan, this churning of the knowledge. I mean, it symbolizes the churning of the knowledge, which like it churns the fodder and all. So I should be constantly doing this churning, and so that Dhenu means Dhanush, sadhana means I'll be able to always keep my aim, purpose of my life to be a Kamdhenu always clear, and should avoid any kind of adulteration or corruption, any deviations to this purpose. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Very beautiful sharing.
Om Shanti, brother.
Om Shanti.
When I take Kamadhenu, like Kamadhenu, generally we call it as a wish cow. And she is a cow. She has got so much in her. She's got lot in her. So whatever the owner wants to give, desires, she can always give. So for that, she must have the quality of giving. And that she must also be full, or what we call it as plenty. So same way here, and whatever desire. So when Baba mentions about Kamadhenu, if you see over here, he said, people should see you as the one who is giving. So for that, first I must be a Mahadani. I must be ready to give. I may have plenty, but am I ready to give everyone what they desire? So when that Mahadani is there in me, for that, people should see the light in me. They should see me full of light. Then they can see me as a wish cow. Not just as yesterday's Baba said, light on the forehead or light on the eyes or light on the corner. He's saying your whole body should be full of light. So if I am a Kamadhenu, the significance what Baba says is, you should give. So for that, I should have. So keep taking from Baba, become plenty and just give like a Devta. Just keep on giving. So from one hand and from up, I get and I give. Yes, I'm Baba's Kamadhenu. Om Shanti.
Very beautifully explained. Thank you. And also one point is that, once you have all your desires fulfilled, only then you will be able to fulfill everyone else's desire. So that is where we can actually bring that whole awareness in us, that I am full, and then I am able to serve others. I am able to give others what they really want. So then we can become that instrument of light and give that light and sustenance to others. So beautiful.
Om Shanti, brother. I would just like to add beautiful sharings, everyone, and thank you, Baba, for that. I would just like to add, like, very importantly, when you have to give, you yourself have to be full first is a very, very important statement in the practical life as well.
Right.
And what I've experienced is, even to give love, you have to have self-love first. Your own cup, emotional cup, has to be full. Only then you give it in the pure manner, otherwise it's half-hearted, and because you're internally not happy, how will you share that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one is in the emotional level and one is in the spiritual level with the light and the purity of intention and the peaceful energy that you vibrate. But I would also relate it to the practical, mundane, daily, worldly life. You have to be, we were talking about dependency. You have to be in a state where you're not dependent in any manner. If you really, really want to give back, you have to be not dependent in any manner. For me, that means whether it is physical independence, financial independence, emotional independence, dependence has to be only on Bab Dada, not on anybody else in the world. So what happens is when you reach that stage of being so full, it's then when you can give 100%. Otherwise, you're seeking assistance from people, right? So somewhere, sometimes I feel when people become more spiritual, at times they lose that fundamental essence that you're also living as an instrument of Baba in the normal world. And therefore, it's just a sharing. I'm not saying right or wrong, but I just personally feel that it's very important that we don't lose focus on that. Like even your own health, for instance. So your physical well-being, how will you take care of others if you yourself are not well, for instance? Or your financial well-being, if you do not earn honestly, how are you going to help others who are in need? Your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being. So for me, it's a very, very holistic approach. And unless we think like this, we will not be able to live in this daily world as true instruments that we can give, because we have so much to give at every level of existence. I just thought I'll share that. Om Shanti.
Beautiful sharing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We also have this message from uh, Sister Lakshmi. If you remove at the start, you will not face opposition. If you are determined, you cannot bring determination in others. If you don't fix the seat here, you cannot fix the seat there. And mothers are also called Kamdhenu. And Tejaswini sister shared that it's all about soul consciousness in our karma, every karma. So apt. Thank you so much for wonderful sharing, and thank you so much for joining today. We'll sit in silence now and remember Baba. Have a great day. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Dadabai, Om Shanti Divine Family. Thank you for all of you for joining the session. And let's practice being in the object stage and the object language for the day. We meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.